Let's kick this thing off. Thank you everyone for coming today to our marketing boot camp. This is like the most exciting time of the year for us when we get to move from, registration and setting up our initial profiles to really building out what's going to engage donors and to learn some of the strategies for how you can engage donors during a giving campaign like Giving Tuesday. So hopefully that's what you're all here for. I believe all of you have successfully registered at this point, and we're glad that you're with us and can be a part of this campaign. You have a really important packet in front of you that we'll draw your attention to today. Take this with you. It's a great sort of everything Giving Tuesday. A lot of the things we're going to mention today are referenced in this document, so you can go back and access it. Those of you that are online, we will send this out as well. It's something that we make available every year, a participant guide. And then, like I said, it's sort of the everything to Giving Tuesday that we're going to go over today and maybe even beyond today. So today, again, we're here to talk about donor engagement strategies and marketing. We have with us in the back some other CFES staff, which will be up here later. We've got Victoria, our marketing guru, and Lauren, another member of our programs team. But I'm going to get us kicked off. Hey, come on in. I did want to mention that we have a full staff team here at the foundation to support your campaign. If you're not familiar with our growing team, I put them in this slide. And there's also in this slide a little bit of information about what we all do here at the foundation. So we have our departments are broken down into finance, marketing, programs, development, and administration. So you can see there's a whole variety of us. There are 3 of us in the programs department, as well as Victoria in marketing, who I think do a lot of intense upfront work with you as you're building this profile out. On the giving day and post giving day, if you have concerns, questions, challenges, you may be speaking even with our finance team, who is really involved on processing the donations and the transactions that come through this campaign. So that's our team there. Just wanted to share with you that we're growing and excited to all be here to support you. We also always love to sort of share some of the past successes that you've all had and we've had together. You can see that, and this is surprising to many people, even though this is a local Giving Day campaign and we're here in rural Maryland, we get gifts from across the nation. Last year, we had gifts from 28 states as far away as California, and that is because this is driven through the power of social media. And as you know, social media can take you almost anywhere these days. So you share it with your friends, they share it with their friends, and so on and so on, and before you know it, you could be in California getting donations, which is exciting for a rural, small-based nonprofit. And let me make this picture a little bit smaller here so we can see the whole slide. One of the largest donations we received last year was $4,000. In previous years, we received gifts as high as $10,000 through this database. So you really have a lot of potential for giving out there. I think our minimum donation is set to $10 right now, but we see an average is much higher than that. We also see one of the other benefits through a campaign like this. Oh, let me check the chat. We have some chat there. Okay, just some check-ins.
Heather, I'm keeping it.
Are you checking that? Okay, great. Thank you. I saw we had some there and I wasn't sure. One of the other real benefits of this campaign is that the dynamic website interface allows you to capture donors that are interested in volunteering with your organization. And, as a nonprofit, we're always looking for other people that can help us in our work in all kinds of ways. And so last year, 65% of organizations that participated did receive offers to volunteer within their nonprofit, equating to up to 7,700 of volunteer hours. Now, I will say, and you'll learn more about this today, follow-up for all of the things that are noted in your donor card or come with your donor data is key to you being successful and engaging those donors. So if they give you information about themselves and what they're willing to do, it is on you as that point person for your organization to start reaching out to those people post-campaign. Don't just let your donor data and all the lovely things that they're willing to do for your organization sit in the database. Take that stuff out. We're going to teach you how to extract that data and manipulate it and be able to use it. And so follow up on some of those things when you get them. You will sometimes have brand new donors to you that are just interested in learning more and may be someone that could, become a board member, could volunteer, could do any number of things for your organization. So today, though, one of the biggest things we're here for is, again, to help you sort of round out the work that you've done so far in getting registered and getting your profile started, to making it the most efficient profile that will engage donors. And it's not just about your profile. In your regular everyday work as a nonprofit professional, you need to start talking about this campaign. You need to start wrapping it into your messaging. You need to start thinking about some of your high-level strategies for engagement. And I know that that can all sound very foreign and overwhelming if you don't do it on a regular basis. And that's why we're here today. We're going to give you some very clear tips and strategies that you can take away from here, go back, have an internal meeting and decide how to move forward. So let's chat about that, what some of those best practices or strategies are. A key to being successful this month is knowing what November looks like for you. If your November is like my November, it looks kind of crazy. But even if it's crazy, we have to sit down and draw out blocks of time on our calendars that we can focus on Giving Tuesday success. This campaign is amazing, has lots of history of success, but you will incrementally advance your success if you put the engagement time into it. If you just build a profile and let it sit there, you will not get out of it what you want. So you will want to try to do some of these things that we're going to talk about today. So, maybe it's blocking out time on your calendar. Maybe it's pulling in some other people close to you, staff, board, volunteers, and saying, we want to engage in this way during this campaign, but we realize that we need more people to help us do that. And so bringing those people close to you can be helpful. And we're going to help you think about what those people, what kind of skills and expertise those people might need to have. You've essentially got 24 hours to make it or break it with this campaign. Now you'll notice in all of our marketing that we actually have an early giving timeframe that starts a week prior. So you are blessed with a full week of giving, not just 24 hours, which is great. Again, more time to maximize on getting that ask out there to donors. The actual giving day, of course, is November 28th, but you'll see a lot of dates in today's PowerPoints related to the rest of this month. So here's some things to consider and the types of skills and expertise that you might want to make sure you have around you. Who has social media expertise? So this is a social media driven campaign. If you are sitting here as someone that doesn't have a Facebook account personally, doesn't ever log on to Instagram, isn't aware of how you can use social media to advance your mission, you might need to get some other people around you to do this work, unless you're prepared and ready to make that jump, jump into social media and teach yourself in the next few weeks how to navigate it, how to use it. I would pull other people around you. If you have volunteers that are, in the collegiate age or the young professional age, they're probably way more driven through social media than some of us are. And they might be the people that you want to pull close. Ambassadors, likewise, if you are buried in the day-to-day work of your organization and not able to be out in the community that much, advocating or being an ambassador for your organization, who can do that for you? Who is on your board? Who is on your staff that is getting out to other community events and can say, did you know about this organization? They're taking part in Giving Tuesday this year, and they'd love to have your support. So again, just thinking about those kind of skill sets is helpful. Matching funds. We're going to talk a little bit about matching funds today. How many of you are familiar with what matching funds are? Okay, some of you are familiar. How many of you are curious? Okay, more curious than aware. That's great. I think this is a great campaign to think about stepping into matching funds. Essentially, matching funds are dollars that you get someone else to agree to earmark for a match for this campaign. So essentially, we often do one-to-one matches, $1 to $1. So you would say, if I was a board member of your organization or a good donor, repeat donor, you could come to me and say, Heather, our organization is taking part in Giving Tuesday this year. We'd really like to increase our impact and raise more dollars. We think that having a matching pool or a set of matching funds would help us do that. Would you agree to set aside a pot of money for us to do that, to utilize for one-to-one gifts? And I would say yay or nay, but if I say yay, the next step would be to agree on a dollar amount. Typically, there's a max dollar amount. So I might say, yeah, I would love to do that for you, but I can only spare $250 towards this effort right now. And you would say, great, that's wonderful. $250 is really gonna maximize our impact. And you would just have that captured in an informal, agreement with that donor or board member. That money does not transact to the foundation. It's private agreement between you and the donor. We do, however, in the database, have the ability to track matches that you've secured. So there's a place in the profile, which Lauren will show you in a little bit, where you can set a number that is the sum total of whatever matches you've agreed on. And then there's a ticker within your profile that again will show you that helps donors see that your organization does have matches and that their dollar is going to go further when they give to you. And that's a really great way to engage donors. There are some donors that are very familiar with match pools and match funds, and they love leveraging their dollars in that way. And so if you want to do that, you want to start having those conversations now or thinking about it now, because you do have to set that number up in your profile before a certain date in the campaign. I think you'll see in the packet, and maybe when Lauren comes up, you'll see some other information. We actually offer a little bit of support. Yeah, it's in here. It's on page 11. We actually, in the packet on page 11, have tips for securing matching funds, because we know that this is, again, an advanced donor strategy and not something that sometimes small nonprofits have stepped into yet. So if it's confusing or overwhelming, we can simplify it. And it can be an easy process. It's just a matter of having that communication ahead of time. After the campaign, so what you would do after the campaign is go back to that donor and conclude that conversation by saying, hey, Heather, we did raise at least $250 in our campaign. Would you please pay your pledge promise now? And then I would give you that $250 myself. Again, it doesn't transact through the community foundation. That's a private agreement between you and a donor. But there is a way we'll show you that you can track it. Thomas Edison says, good fortune is what happens when opportunity meets planning. Planning is one of the best ways to be successful in this campaign. Again, sort of thinking through all of the things that we're going to discuss today and creating strategies for your organization to succeed will get you what you're looking for in most cases. So here are some other things to consider, and these are where the dates start coming in. We try to give you dates so that you can really do your long-term planning between now and when the editing deadline is, which is November 17th. So we've essentially got 17 days, 18 days to get the rest of the work done on our profiles. Another strategy that some nonprofits like to utilize that can be impactful is fundraiser pages. And this is on page 7 and 8 in your participant packet. Again, I'll explain it and Lauren will demonstrate it. But after today, if you're thinking, a lot of information is swimming in my head, what were they saying about fundraising pages? You can find it in your packet. This is sort of a peer-to-peer fundraising page. So this is tied to an individual. So this would be, again, let's say I'm again your board member, and one of your engagement strategies would be to ask me as a board member to create a personal fundraising page on behalf of your organization in the campaign. There is an easy way that I can surf to your profile as a board member or donor or friend of your organization and click the fundraise button and get a page that I can put my own narrative in, my own pictures, and my own sort of message for engagement. You can also have access to those pages, so you'll be able to see who's fundraising on your behalf and what sort of messaging they've created, what pictures they've used. There's a process for that, but fundraising pages can be a great way to sort of, again, get more social media sharing. Sometimes if a donor comes to your organizational profile and they're not motivated by the actual organizational profile, but they know the person that's created an individual page tied to your profile, that might be more meaningful. So they may then say, oh yeah, I know Heather, she works with this place and she has something to do with this organization. So now I'm thinking more, about my connections and the importance of their work. You do not have to take advantage of fundraiser pages at all. If it feels overwhelming or just not, it doesn't fit into your engagement model this year, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it. But if you love the idea of it, if you've seen how peer-to-peer pages work, like GoFundMe's and other Relay for Life sort of fundraiser pages, and you feel like it speaks to you, it's there for you. You can do it up until the 17th, so you have plenty of time to think about it. One of the other really fun donor engagement strategies could be to incentivize or focus on the prize mechanisms that we built out in this campaign. So we have a $10,000 prize pool that just for participating and or engaging unique donors, you can win money. Essentially, you can win $1,000 as a part of the campaign. You can do it. There's 5 random participatory prizes and 5 donor engagement prizes. They're given based on who is getting the most unique donors in an hour time frame. So what some nonprofits will choose to do is look at that schedule of the hourly prizes, and if they know, for example, they know their demographic, their donor demographic really well, and they know what time of day they're active or not active, they will frame their messaging targeted. Please give to us in the hour between 12 and 1 p.m. We could win a unique prize, $1,000 prize or whatever. That is a strategy that some groups have found really successful. We do have the campaign set up that you can only win one of those 10 prizes to disperse those throughout the over 100 participating nonprofits, but it can really boost your fundraising to get $1,000 gift. And so if you'd like to do that, I think it's something that you want to think about now. So again, you can create your messaging and think about what forms of communication you're already going to be doing between now and Thanksgiving. And you would want to tuck that into it. At the same time, you're thinking about your annual giving strategies. Again, I mentioned messaging that you may already be creating right now towards this campaign or other end of year fundraising. And they should be cohesive. They should go together. So you essentially want to send, a message that speaks to the impact of your organization and its needs and encompasses all of the things that you're doing between now and the end of the year. So you wouldn't want to send one message, for example, really targeted towards Giving Tuesday on November 28th, and then another message that's, here's my annual appeal, please give here, or here's my annual gala that's happening right around Giving Tuesday. 3 separate messages in that scenario. Sometimes that overwhelms donors and fatigues them and confuses them. Put it all together. Say, we're excited to plan our events for the next couple of months through the end of the year. This is how we are hoping to receive gifts. These are the events that you can engage with us on, etc. So hopefully you're creating some of those messages now, because we have entered the giving season. Many nonprofits are planning their end of year annual appeal messages, fundraising events, Giving Tuesday, and anything else that they normally do this time of year. So try to, wrap those things in there. You'll see when Lauren comes up and when Victoria talks about marketing, we give you a lot of templates, narratives, boilerplates, just like we already have done the work for you. We give you all the language, all the narratives that you need to create an engaging message. You do not have to sit down and pound out your own stuff. That's what we're here for. We're trying to make it easier for all of you that, don't have paid marketing staff or other people to do these things. It also helps us in that we can create a shared message that hits the community in the, at the same time and in the same way. So we get that comprehensive sort of understanding of the campaign. Any questions about these things? I'm guessing online we're okay. Yeah.
So like the fundraiser pages, I do like a monthly newsletter just to the general public. So would there be any downside to putting that link out just to the general public? Is there a limit to the amount of pages, or do you want to use it for specific?
That's a good question. I don't know that I've ever thought about putting it out to the general public. Do you know if there's a limit on the number of pages you can have?
There's not a limit.
Yeah, I don't think so.
What week are you Like, I guess it would be like for them to create their own, like if
So
they
like linking them to your
fundraise
profile
for-
and saying you could go here and create.
Yeah,
a
or you could just stay tuned if you just make a donation.
I don't think there's a limit.
There's not a limit, we usually recommend kind of keeping it reined in the number of pages, just so you're not, like, everyone's not getting bombarded from all different directions. But there's not technically a limit. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to try it, you're.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. We do tend to, like I said earlier, kind of keep it close so we can manage our messaging and the number of people that are doing that. You don't want generic, non-branded, like mixed messages on those pages either. You want to have some control of them as an organization and have the people that are creating them be close to your work, so they can, but you have some purview over them, so you have some options. Yeah, maybe you
We
could.
recommend that if you're going to have people that do that, have it be somebody that has a very strong social media following.
Mm.
And then just keep in mind that, for each nonprofit, different tactics are going to work better. So if you don't have somebody who you're like, wow, they really have a strong following on social media, then maybe it's better to really concentrate on just your brand page. So, measure the pros and cons of each tactic. We don't require you to use specific.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking it. I think it's great if you're excited about them. I think it's great that you're gonna figure out how to use them because I do think they're powerful. I do think there's a person-to-person advantage to sometimes peer fundraising. Like I said, someone might not be as aware of your organization or interested in what you're presenting, but if they see a personal connection to someone else that's tied to your page, it changes that dynamic. Makes them want to dig deeper. Do we have any questions online? I don't think so. Everyone okay online? Any questions? Okay, so all of these, again, are things that you want to think about probably in the next 2 weeks so that you can create the strategies, implement them, and wrap anything into the actual profile building that you're going to be doing, because that does turn off on November 17th, after November 17th. Here's a few more things to think about. Again, these all have timing sort of tied to them. And again, don't let all of this stuff overwhelm you. You get to pick what your organization wants to do and how you want to do it. It's all scalable. You can pick certain tactics this year, leave some of them on the table for another year, or this might be the year that you've been in the campaign a few years and you're thinking to yourself, okay, I do need to up my game. I do need to try some new strategies. And so I'm going to jump into these other pieces. We're just sort of going to lay out all the choices, but you get to pick. So another thing that can be helpful is thinking about your boards. So boards, as boards of directors are typically tasked with financially supporting your organizations. Hopefully you've all started asking them to do that. And if not, this is a great way to start. You could perhaps consider at your next board meeting, if you have one in front of the campaign or maybe even over email communication, you could set a goal to drive your board to be a part of this campaign. And you have a lot of options for that. We'll give you some narratives in the packets and in the marketing toolkit. But one of the ways you could do it is asking them to give to your organization on that day, or asking them to share your page outward onto social media, asking them to just make other people aware of the campaign, even in person, talking to people as your ambassador again. Don't be shy about engaging your board in this sort of campaign. Again, it's got that social media driven, engagement, and the more people that know about it and are asked to be a part of it, the better off you'll do. You could incentivize. You could say, so the first year we participated in this, for example, we set some basic ask of our board. And we also asked one of our board members to help us buy a cake, a Smith Island cake. So they basically donated the cake. One board member donated the cake, and we engaged everyone else towards giving and sharing. We had specific mechanisms that we had identified. And then we put their names in a hat when they did those things, and we gave that cake to somebody after the campaign. It's a very easy ask to get something that is interesting and fun to people. If you have the resources, maybe you can buy your own incentive item. Sometimes we aren't able to, and we have to make those asks. But that sort of incentivizing can be fun. There's another thing that you're gonna see as we move further along. We had it on the very first page. It's this unselfie thing. It's in the back of your packet. This is a fun way. Again, ask your board members to take an unselfie with this little template that we're giving you and share it to social media on behalf of your organization. That could be one of the things that you're engaging them in.
What is an unselfie?
An unselfie is this little template right here, where basically you're showing how unselfish you are by showing who you're giving to on Giving Tuesday, or what you're giving for. So some of us say, like, I give for animals, I give for youth, I give for dogs, you know, and some of us want to say more specifically, I give to the community foundation, I give to my favorite nonprofits, you know, whatever. But it's a fun little social engagement strategy. It makes it just something else fun, you know, to do. And it can be incentivized.
There's a digital copy of it, the guide, and I'll show you where it is. It's in the resource center, so you can print that template out.
That's great. Thanks, Lauren. So yeah, there's a lot of options you can do for engaging your board, but don't forget your board. Really, bring them in to your fundraising at your nonprofit if you haven't done that already. And this is a great, easy, fun campaign to get them to be a part of. We already talked about donors, but essentially, again, if you're creating donor communications between now and Thanksgiving, this should be wrapped in. The fact that you're a part of this campaign, maybe even a link to your profile, should be wrapped into your messaging so they can be aware. Some of us regularly or occasionally have access to free press or media spots. Some of us may even have paid advertising. Whatever you have access to, whether it's free or paid, consider plugging this campaign and your participation of it into it before Thanksgiving. So if you have access to you know, some kind of other external print publication, a newspaper, a magazine article, any kind of thing that's out there. TV, radio, there are radio hosts that do free shows. There are public television, there's public radio, there's all kinds of options for promotion. Don't be shy. We will probably be doing some of this ourselves, and we may wrap some of you into that work. We have done that before, highlighted some of our participating nonprofits. Victoria will be talking about some of the paid media that we put towards this campaign on your behalf. But we just want you to think about that too. If you have anything that you're doing, newsletters, anything else, partners that are willing to mention your organization, pitch it, get it in there before Thanksgiving. Outdoor signs. I don't have access to this here, but some of you might have outdoor signs. They'll stick on letter kind, or maybe even a digital one, or maybe you could get a banner made. Put something visible outside if you have a brick and mortar. This doesn't work for all of us, but if you have a brick and mortar location, put that thing up in lights. Shoregivesmore.org, you know, talk about it again, any place you can. Sometimes Don Hackett over at Duck Point is willing to adjust that sign he has, the digital sign, on the day of Giving Tuesday to push people to that website. And you could do that too, if you had access to it. And then lastly, special events. If you want to do a special event, it can be a fun way to engage person to person. We've seen lots of different models of what that looks like. I would just encourage you to remember the expenses associated with fundraising events and be cautious about how much money you might be spending to get other people to your event and to give. Sometimes fundraising events are not the best way to utilize the little bit of resources you have. But if you have, you know, a free, accessible venue, an easy way or fun way to casually spread an in-person excitement for your day, we do encourage that you do that on the actual day, on November 28th. And that's when you'll see a lot of these things happening in the community. You'll see us out in the community that day. You'll probably hear and see us on the TV as well, or the radio. But if you want to do these kind of things, if you have a demographic that loves to get together and be in person and be excited about your work, maybe this is a meaningful thing for you. But I would focus on that November 28th timeframe. One of the things that we do sometimes when we have in-person events, because it's an online donation-driven campaign, one of the keys would be to have accessible donation devices on site. So like for us, we would take tablets or computers and a hotspot and help people log on and give right there. This campaign is not meant for collecting cash, collecting checks, or any of that. It's meant for donating online. So that's something to consider. If you're doing an event, you will want to have those donation portals up and live for your ability to take in that money. But you'll see some pictures from the various things that have been done in the past, and some of them are really fun. Any questions on these strategies? Anything that sound exciting that you want to jump into this year? Anybody want to share? Just still sounds like a lot, right? You'll have to take it back and simmer on it and figure out how to jump in. Again,
People do we have that are new this year?
yeah, that's a good question. New people. Okay, some
We
fair
like
new
knowing
ones.
that, so we know like who might need a little extra
Yeah.
guidance or help, so don't be afraid to.
Yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to us, but again, if it's your first time, just focus on getting a good, engaging profile up, maybe do some fundraiser pages, maybe get a match, but you totally scale this how you want. We're just throwing all of the options at the wall so you understand that they're there. And now I'm gonna trade places with Lauren, and she's gonna actually demonstrate some of these things on the web. I get to do all the technical stuff. So Heather's talked about a lot of things, so I'm gonna show you where a lot of that stuff lives in the website and just kind of walk through. So most of you have probably been in the site and seen your profiles. You know, you've had, unless you had somebody else at your organization do it, but I'm gonna just go over everything that's there, and I'm gonna reiterate what Heather said multiple times about scaling. When I show you all the features that are in here, so many of them are optional. So they're bonuses if you want to use them, if you want to engage, get creative. They're not things that you have to use. There's a couple of things that are more important than others, so I'll kind of point that out as we get to them. Okay, so let me see, let me get logged into my user account. Okay, that worked. Okay, so this is what you see when you first log in. This announcements box over here, kind of always glance at it when you log in, because anything new or important, we'll stick it in there. We're gonna put the recording for this boot camp in there after, so if you have anyone else at your orgs that wanted to watch it, it'll be there. Important dates are always right here. And then down here, this is kind of your progress page. So all your goals are down here, your fundraising page progress, you can watch that here. Any early giving, so early giving opens on the 20th. That early giving doesn't show on the public page, on that public ticker that we'll be watching. If that doesn't show until the 28th, but you can watch any early giving progress back here. And this is where you'll put your goal. So if you want to have a goal, if you haven't done it already, if you have an overall event goal, you can enter that here. And then if this is where Heather talked about the matches. So if you're interested in doing a match, it's right on your dashboard here. You update that match goal. You can put that information in about whatever match you have. And so that's just goals. That's a simple page. So you're gonna go to my public profile, and this is where your overview is, this first page that you get to here. Stuff is so small. That's so big. Okay. So if you want to edit, this edit button will be here until the 17th, like Heather said, and then after that, it'll be locked in, because we don't want people making changes after donors have started looking. So we lock it right before early giving starts. There's a couple fun things here. The QR codes, I think that might be new this year, because I don't remember seeing it last year. If you're into that kind of thing, you can use QR codes. I would point out, use the one that says profile page. That's gonna take them to your profile. Donation page,
doesn't exist yet. I'm not sure if it will. I think it might be for something else, but the profile page one works. I tested them out. So, so you can download that and include it in an email or in, you know, flyers if you're handing them out, whatever you want to do with it. And so on here, the one really important thing I want to point out is this custom URL here. So does anyone know what their custom URL is? Like, do you know, if you made it, you know yours? Okay, so it's going to be really important to know this. So you'll want to go back when you get to your computer, log in, check it out. This is what you use to send people to your page. Okay, because shoregivesmore.org is going to go to the public page with everybody's profile, which is fine. But if you want to drive people to your page where your donate button is, it's going to be shoregivesmore.org/whatever that is right there, that custom URL. You type that in. So you edit, and where did it go? Right here. Okay. So you want it to be something simple, easy to remember. The acronym for your organization is always good. If your acronym is not particularly appealing to you, you can just, something short and sweet that directs people to you. But so ours would be shoregivesmore.org/CFES. That's going to send people right to our profile. And that's the link that you want to include in all of your communications, your emails, whatever you're doing, your social media posts.
So all you need to do is type just what your acronym say.
Yep.
Nothing more.
Yeah, just
You
whatever.
take care of the longer address.
Yeah, so it's automatic. The platform here, it does that. So you type that in there and it automatically just turns it into your URL. That's the most important thing on this page. Most of the other stuff was mandatory, so you have it anyway. Yeah, down here, there's an option to put in keywords. So when donors are on the main page and they're searching, they can search a few different ways. They can search by county, they can search by your name. If they're looking for a specific organization, they can search by categories, and they can search by keywords. So say they just go, and keywords is a really easy way to search, rather than, going through and looking at the categories. Some people are going to see that field and just type in animals, because they want to support an animal organization, or, youth, or whatever it is, hunger, homelessness. So when they type in that keyword, if you have keywords here, it's going to pull your profile up for that. So you might want to think about what keywords might somebody type in, and that would bring them to us. And you could put those in there. Just make sure your keywords are separated by a comma. That's just a technical thing. So that's that main overview page. And so everything else, all the optional stuff, is in tabs on the left over here. So the donation levels is another good one to use. Has anybody seen this yet? The donation levels? Okay, a couple. So these are going to show up, and I can show you. Let's see, I'm going to pull up 2 versions of this so that you can see what it looks like on the other side. This is a website that lets us jump ahead in the campaign and pretend it's Gives Day. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like on Gives Day, but hopefully that number is going to be rising much faster. So when they go to your page, let's see, some people have them, some people don't. So they don't. Okay, so if you don't have donation levels typed in, then this is what your cart's going to look like. It's going to have some buttons, and it's just going to have the dollar amounts there. I'll look up ours because I know ours have it. Okay, so if you type in labels for them, this is what you get. So this is it's a way to engage donors by giving them an idea of what that amount of money can do. So, and here, let me zoom in a little bit. You're not telling them that that's specifically what they're buying. You're not saying, like, you give us this and we're specifically buying this. It's just, it gives donors an idea of what that amount of money can do, which can be engaging to them. And you see that on websites a lot, on nonprofit websites a lot. So sometimes it's like sponsor tiers or something will have descriptions like that. They show different things. So that can be engaging for your donors. And that's on that donation level tab. So you can just add a donation level and then it'll let you put that information in there. Multimedia, this is a rather important one, I would say. Pictures and videos are engaging. And even if it's just pictures, you know, if you don't have videos or you don't want to mess with that, that's fine too. But you definitely want to put in something visual, you know, visual stuff is always like just more compelling, pulls at heartstrings. So this is where you'll do that. You'll go to your multimedia tab, just say add a multimedia, and then select the type, picture or video, and add that in there. And that will show up, let's see, over here. And people can click on it and scroll through. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. So these, okay, those top three, I would say, are the ones you want to focus on the most. Then the other ones, you get into the more, just like if you're really wanting to build this out, these are some options for you. So you can put more information about specific programs that you have. If you're raising money for a specific program, like Community Foundation, we have a page, but we don't raise money just generally for the foundation. We raise for our Help Your Neighbor Fund, which we use to make grants to the community for emergency needs and basic needs. Excuse me. So if you want to put information about a program that you're raising money for, you can do that here. If you just want to put information about programs that you think are, you know, engaging or that you're proud of, that you're excited about, you can put that information there too. Events. You can use this tab to either, you know, if your organization has events that are coming up and you want to advertise them, or like Heather talked about the idea of doing Giving Tuesday events. So if you're planning on doing an event on the 28th, you could post that information there too. Volunteer opportunities, if you are looking for volunteers, the donor cart will ask if they're interested in being volunteers, but this is a place where you can put specific opportunities that you might have for volunteering. And then if you have any specific needs, you can kind of use this tab however you'd like. If maybe you have in-kind needs, you know, if it's a humane society, maybe you need dog food or something, you could put that there. Or if it's just specific, you know, a specific monetary needs, you can use that, you can put that there. Those last two tabs, you can ignore. They don't function, so they don't really do anything, so just ignore them. So that's the profile, and that's all the different things you can do there. And I want to show you the other things you have access to, because these are going to be important. So my fundraisers. So if you can see when somebody creates a fundraiser page for you, it's going to show up back here. When they create the fundraiser page, it automatically goes public. But if you see it and you see anything on it that you don't like, maybe it doesn't have your branding, or it's something, you know, maybe some incorrect information, you have the ability on this tab here to take it down. So when they create it, it's in their account, it goes public automatically. But if for any reason you don't want that there, you can come to your My Fundraisers tab and it'll give you an option to disable it. Probably won't need to, but just it's good to know that you have that option just in case. And so that's where you can see, and when donations come in, so I don't want to, yeah, okay. I don't want to show our donor information, so I'm not going to show you what it looks like filled out, but this is where you come for donation information. It's going to have all the donations that come through. If you've been in the campaign before, it has your historical information too. But if somebody donates through a fundraiser page, it's going to tell you that. It's going to be in the donation information somewhere on there, and you might have to export it, but it's going to be in there. So you'll see what fundraiser pages brought money in for you, and then you can thank that person or whatever you want to do. So when you come here, if you've done this before, first of all, they changed a couple things. So this didn't used to be up here. It used to be on the profile page on the tabs. So this is a new tab to itself. This is really nice that so it used to be that when you came to your donation information, all your donation history popped up. It populated automatically. So you go there, and this happened all the time. You'd go to it and you'd think, wow, I have like 100 donations, but really it's showing you the past 4 years worth of donations. And that could be really confusing. So thankfully, they've added this now where it defaults to the current giving day. And then if you want to see your past gift days, you can filter down. And Heather talked about being able to use this information. So you've got this export button here. So it's gonna export all the information. You'll have, unless your donor chooses to donate anonymously, which they can, if they don't do that, you'll have all their contact information. So you can then put that, into your CRM, or you can send additional thank you letters. They do get tax acknowledgements automatically from the system, so you don't have to worry about that, but it's always a great idea to send a thank you. See, my users. So if you have other people in your organization and you want to add them so they can access, go to this My Users tab, and you can add them in here, and then they can get in. You can collaborate on the profile. You can manage settings here. So for existing users, okay, this one's not super intuitive. If you want to deactivate somebody, so say they're not with you anymore at your organization, you go down here to user settings and remove. That's how you deactivate them. I wish they had a button that just said deactivate. It would be a lot more intuitive, but you just remove that. If you're getting donation notifications and you don't want to, or if somebody doesn't need to be getting them, you can choose to remove that or grant that, whichever way you want to go. And let's see. So before I go to the Resource Center, because that's when I'm going to turn it over, I'm going to show you a little bit more of the donor cart. So this is where we ask, are you a first-time donor? Do you want to be anonymous? Are you interested in volunteering? And we ask, is this donation in memory or honor of someone, and then notes. So if they want to put notes, they can. So this is where that information comes from. And the answers to that show up in your donation information. So that big spreadsheet of information is going to have, were they interested in volunteering? Are they a first-time donor? It's really great to track first-time donors, because then you're getting new donors through this campaign. And you might want to put a little extra effort into engaging them afterwards, So this is, one of the great things about Giving Tuesday is just the exposure and the ability to reach new audiences, and obviously you're engaging existing audiences, but you also have the opportunity to bring in new donors, because people are coming to this page. We're all driving traffic to this page, so they're seeing everybody.
I have a question. So when you're calculating for the prize unique donors, you don't use that, right?
This here? No, so
do you compare them with, these are like people who have not given before, right, at Giving Tuesday?
So for the prizes, it doesn't matter if they've given before. It's just what unique donor means is if, say I were to donate to you 3 times in the day for some reason.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Then I'd only get counted once.
Oh, okay.
So I guess that's to keep people from being like, I'm just gonna give it, $10 20 times or something like that, So, yeah.
I was just wondering, thinking about, how when if you just go to the site, you'll see everything, or you could find it through the organization that you want to donate to. So, do you know if, most people, they donate to multiple organizations, or
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the nice thing about the donor part, they definitely do. It's a good question. So, and we see all of that stuff. So, the nice thing about the donor cart is it's set up like an Amazon shopping cart. So it's once they pick one, they put their donation in, it goes into their shopping cart, and then it pops up other suggestions, and then it lets it basically continue shopping. So they can.
Like Amazon.
Yeah, it's exactly like Amazon. So it's very convenient to just be like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna throw this in my cart too, and we see, because we break all that data down every year, we look at all the transactions, and there's definitely a lot of people give to multiple organizations. And this page here, when you come to it, this is randomized and it defaults to that. So every time they come to this page, there's gonna be different ones up top. So it's not, it doesn't default to alphabetical order. So you don't have to worry if you're, a Z or a Y or something. Got categories here. And, fundraisers. So we've got some fun. So this is where the fundraiser pages live. Now, these all have their own URL as well. So the people that made these, they can send a link to their own fundraiser page. But when people donate to that page, it automatically goes into your donation information. So it filters right through to yours. So this is these, yeah.
Maybe last year's actually.
I think they're just I don't know, last year we had a lot more, so I don't know what they are.
We'll figure it
But, well, I'm on the dev mode site, so this isn't the real site.
out. Okay.
Yeah, this is just what they're going to look like. But we might have some, I could see if we have some actual ones built up this year.
When I checked the other day, those are what came up actually. And I wasn't sure why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So no, they're not, I just don't know how they have money already.
Yeah, I think that's why I think they're, we have to try to.
Interesting, okay. Huh. All right, so I think, Heather, do you think of anything else on the site that I didn't show? Oh, wait, I answered my own question already. Two more things. The leaderboards page.
Oh, yeah.
This is where, so it looks really boring right now, but let me see if I can pull it up here.
Laura, when you get a chance, can you mention the ways that donors can give? That
Okay.
might be helpful in marketing too, like to mention that you can now have some more modern ways of donating.
Okay. Yeah, so this is what the leaderboard page looks like. And it shows whoever it has raised the most will be at the top. And then it'll also show, I don't know if we'll be able to see it now, but there's matches will show up here too. And it has like a little trophy pops up when you've met your match. So people can watch and they watch the progress. It's fun. People really enjoy just watching the numbers go up and watching people meet their goals. And then prizes. Prizes are announced on the leaderboard page as well. So if you want to check, to see if you missed the notice or whatever, if you want to check, you can look at the leaderboards. And so the other thing I was going to show you was the FAQ page. If you haven't seen this, there's some resources here. The first three actually are in your packet as well. But there's FAQ for nonprofits, for donors, the prize information. So if you're curious about those hours, we list those here. If you want to know what those prize hours are, you can come there. And then some registration resources, which you don't need at this point. And there's also some resources for creating a fundraiser. So if people, yeah.
What happens if you exceed your goal? So if I said realistically, 500 is to start out, doesn't come off at 500?
No. If you exceed your goal, then just congratulations. Yeah.
Then next year you increase your goal.
Yeah.
Realistic goals, we'll start would be what? Decide or just?
It's whatever you decide. It also, it has a lot to do with how much you put into it as far as the marketing engagement goes. So like if you are brand new to the campaign and you don't do any social media posts, you don't do any outreach at all, you're not gonna see a lot of traffic at all. But the more you do, the more you're gonna drive donors to your site, and then your number's gonna go up. So that's gonna make a big difference. It's hard, I don't wanna put a number out there because it's really hard to say, honestly. It's pretty kind of unique to everybody, I would say.
And also too, as you do it every year, your donors are gonna get more familiar with you doing this campaign. And so I think that, they start to expect it and it's not something new to them either. So I think that the longer you do this consistently, the more you'll kind of see every year.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I'd say Giving Tuesday is not gonna necessarily be your biggest push of the year, but it's a great opportunity for, great opportunity for fundraising. It's also a great opportunity for exposure and reaching those new donors and putting yourself in a platform with, you know, a whole bunch of other Eastern Shore nonprofits. You know, it's just a really great platform to be a part of. And, okay, I think we're ready now for the resource center. Oh wait, no, Heather wanted me to show. So it's in both of the FAQ documents. But what forms of payment? So these are the forms of payment we accept. So credit cards, also e-check, ACH, Google Pay for Android users, and Apple Pay for Apple users. So we've got a wide variety of ways that the donors can give. Is that what you wanted me to show?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you. We just added Google Pay and Apple Pay last year, and we're just really excited to have those mobile-friendly giving options. You know, 'cause a lot of people use those now, on their phones and other devices instead of the other mechanisms.
So when the donor goes to check out, those options will be listed for them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Any other questions? I'm getting ready to wrap up. This is the other really, really important piece, so please remember this one. The Resource Center. This is how you're gonna get to your marketing toolkit. And this is where I'm gonna turn it over to Victoria, but there's all kinds of really great stuff in the marketing toolkit. And also, before I give it to her, the marketing kit has a folder here, but there's also things like this boot camp PowerPoint is here. When we do the recording, when we post the recording, it's gonna be in here. The public info sessions, that stuff is all right here too. But there's a lot of really great stuff in the marketing kit. So I'm gonna turn it over to Victoria. Do you want the PowerPoint back first?
You can put it up for a second. I just have that one slide of basic stuff. Hey, here's the marketing kit.
You have a bunch of slides.
Do I?
Yeah.
But I don't spend most of the time on the slides, because I'm usually going through the kit. So, hi, I'm Victoria. I'm the marketing officer for the Community Foundation. That means I handle all of our graphic design, our marketing, our advertising, our press, our social media, and our website, and other duties as assigned. Last week, it was assembling furniture. My email is available to all of you. So if you get stuck on something marketing wise for this campaign, please feel free to reach out. I'll go through a couple things here, different resources, and just keep in mind, you do not have to utilize every single resource. I want you to focus on where you feel your strengths are. And we'll get into that a little bit more. So Giving Tuesday, I use this slide a lot to sort of introduce people to the concept of Giving Tuesday and why it is on the Tuesday following Thanksgiving. And that is in your marketing kit, so you'll see. And so we have a bunch of different things in our toolkit. So let me pop over here. When you get into the Google Drive, you'll see Marketing Kit 2003. Thank you. And what we have in here is, I'll deep dive into the graphics a little bit more, but any of our logos for Giving Tuesday and our sponsor logos are in here. They are all set as PNG images with transparent backgrounds. This means that if you load them into Canva on top of an image, you won't have that little ugly white box around them. But if you happen to have a graphic designer on staff that needs some form of more advanced logo, have them email me. I have all of our vectors and EPSs and the things I won't bog the average person down with. It's just kind of nerd speak. And then we have our I Give For and selfies that you can print out in PDF form here. Heather mentioned those earlier. And our links and resources here. This is just a great Word doc that I make available to all of our nonprofits throughout the year, if it'll load. I think our internet's being a little slow here today. But the number one tool I recommend for anybody, oh, there it goes, for this campaign, if you need to create some graphics, is Canva. In my day-to-day life, I use things that are a lot more advanced than Canva, but everything in this campaign, for the most part, I designed in Canva so that basically you guys have the same access that I do to these sort of things. And I set up all of the images so that you can drop them into Canva and put your logo right on top as needed. if you're not familiar with Canva and you want to learn about it, they have some really great video tutorials that you can hop into. They're very easy to understand. Even my friends that say they are totally graphically challenged know and learn Canva very quickly. Do you have a question?
Not for me.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. One of the first years we did this campaign, we had somebody come in and say, what's Facebook? So, and you know what? It's funny because I've kept my eye on that nonprofit over the years and they've grown a little bit more every year. So, you are not alone.
I know the
But there are a lot of different tools in here. Don't feel overwhelmed by this, but this is just a really good resource. One thing that I do want to point out in this is that please be very careful with where you get stock images from. I have provided a ton for you. If you go through them, and I'll show you where they are, if you go through them and you go, there's not really any images here that relate to our nonprofit or not our cause, shoot me an email, because for this campaign, part of the expenses that we put forward are to make sure that there are, you know, graphics that everybody can use. And every year I have a nonprofit that says, hey, you know, I think last year we had one that said, maybe it was 2 years ago, they focused on transportation stuff. And they reached out to me and they said, you don't really have a whole lot of graphics that represent transportation. And I went, all right, let's find some, you know, and I made sure that they worked for them. And so we just keep using those every year and add them to the pile. So if you go through all, I think 150 and there's nothing there, or maybe only can relate to one or two, just let me know and we'll see what we can put together for you. But the reason I bring this up is because one of the biggest scams on the internet is, and sometimes it's not even a scam, people will go on Google and search for stock images and they go, oh, it's free because I can copy it. It is probably not free. Even the websites that say they are free, a lot of times it's free for personal use. And as a nonprofit, you count as commercial use. And then you get this lovely letter in the mail that says, hey, you're being sued for $1,000 for using our photo without our consent. It's how a lot of those companies make money. So please read all the fine print if you take something off the internet. So, and I have worked for a company that was getting sued for millions for doing that. And it was a national, international company. Yes.
I don't know how many people here are familiar with that poem, The Dash. It's often used in a church setting. It's like looking at the headstone, born this date, died that date. There's a very famous poem on the dash. If you ever use it, you'll get sued.
Oh.
Just what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, you know what, I have heard of that, yes, yeah.
That whoever wrote it, they make a living by surfing the internet, see if anybody put it on their newsletter or whatever.
And, you know, in a photographer's defense, you know, that is how they make money, and it's very easy for a company to steal their images. I know Lauren is a very talented photographer. I'm not sure if she's selling her work yet. If she's not, she should be. My dad's a photographer. And so those people spend a lot of time learning their trade and their craft and, you know, should be compensated for them.
Sure.
Yes, absolutely. Communication law and copyrights is one of my favorite topics in school, so I get it. In the event that you want to send out a press release, and I will preface this with, we send out several and work directly with the media through all of this. But you can also use this year round for other things. This is just a little template that we provide in our nonprofit trainings. Again, if it will load, that just sort of lays out how we structure our press releases for the foundation, and you can steal this and use this year round. I will not sue you for copying this. But another great resource there for you. And when it comes to Giving Tuesday, for the most part, you won't have to do a whole lot of work with the media since we handle a lot of that. There's also a sample board of directors engagement letter there. So if you want to send a letter out to your board of directors or maybe even your volunteers asking them to participate, some people like getting something in their mailbox. I kind of, you know, used to be that you're like, oh gosh, more stuff in my mailbox. Why don't they send an email? Now it's like, oh, look, there's a prize in there today. It's not spam or bills. And so, you know, that may be another good engagement tool for you. and I'll get into this a little bit more, but we do require that you make some posts, thanking the sponsors. So Shore United Bank has sunk some significant money into this, and 47 ABC has as well. So we make it available, and no, I've not updated where it says Twitter to X, because I'm not used to that yet, so. But those are the correct handles. And then we do ask to make sure that if you are referencing 47 ABC in your posts, that you say 47 ABC and not WMDT. So there's that. And then social media post ideas. You are welcome to copy these verbatim. Preferably don't, include the part that says like XYZ and, that sort of thing in there, use your own organization, but also please feel free to mix it up, because a lot of people do copy these posts that we're going to go through verbatim, which again is fine, but then you may see that other organizations have those same posts, but these are all kind of some really good starting points for you. We encourage you to use the hashtag #ShoreGivesMore. One, that helps us find your posts. Not that we're checking up on you, but we like to share the good news. And also a lot of times I'll go back through and pull some snapshots of some of the good work. Also, every year there is one nonprofit, and it's a different nonprofit every year. They sign up and they raise $0. And it's because they have not made one single post or asked one single person to donate. And every year we kind of go, okay, we're sitting there monitoring throughout the day. Well, how does this one nonprofit only have $10 or hasn't gotten a single donation yet? And the first thing we do is, what kind of engagement did they do? And we pull up their social media, and there's nothing there. So, and if you have a small social media following, this is a really good opportunity to build that. Now, for the Community Foundation, I don't waste time on TikTok. Our donors are not on TikTok. At least not in a significant enough way that I'm going to take time to really build it. I have our name reserved on there. But there's only one of me. And one thing that you have to realize with a nonprofit is whoever is handling your social media and your marketing is probably, if you're lucky, one of them. Or maybe it's like, a quarter of you that is trying to do that and everything else. So focus on where it matters. If you only have 3 Instagram followers, or your only Instagram followers are your staff, maybe that's not the best use of your time for this campaign if you've got 1,000 Facebook followers. If you have a tool like Hootsuite where you can, put it out to multiple places at one time, fantastic, by all means. I'm not discouraging you to do that. Likewise, if you have a big following on LinkedIn, use that. I don't talk a whole lot about LinkedIn in this training, more because it tends to be more professional development than social networking, but just really think about where your strengths and weaknesses are, and then focus the majority of your energy towards that. And like I was saying, this is a great time where I know, especially with newer nonprofits, you may only have 25 followers right now. Well, you can walk around your office and be like, hey, you're not a fan of my new nonprofit on Facebook yet, are you? Here, let me send you that invite. Let me tell you, I am out there sending text messages to my 84-year-old father going, you can donate today. Thank you. Thanks, sir. I'm sitting there sending messages to my stepmom. Have you liked us on Instagram? So this is a really good time. Double check, make sure your board members are followers. Encourage your board members and your volunteers and your good supporters to go ahead and find those. Question in the back?
That's not really a question. I'm not like, Facebook. For example, you have Facebook and you have 500 friends.
Mm-hmm.
How those 500 friends, comes to campaigns and stuff, and they're your friends, but they don't really necessarily, translate to
Right.
actual giving purposes. Trying to come up with some type of campaign to get those individuals off that.
Mm-hmm.
And
It can be very tricky. Yeah.
so it's gonna it makes you a friend, because I don't know. It's
So one thing that I do is I make sure if I'm inviting somebody to like or follow one of our social media accounts, the Community Foundation, we are based in the 3-county region. I am not going to invite my college friends from Pennsylvania to follow our page. It's just not relevant to them, you know? Same ways where I get so annoyed every time, you know, I get another, you know, what are the, like the MLM messages from, hey girl, I know we haven't talked in 10 years, but I've got this great new product and and 1% of my sales are gonna go to this nonprofit. No, okay? But, so put some thought into who are you inviting? And who actually may care about your cause. You know, I'll take some time and go through kind of my friend list or my recent contact and go, you know what, that person actually, I should get them involved. That person, let me show them how our nonprofit can benefit something that is meaningful to them. For example, I work with Operation We Care a lot, which supports first responders and veterans and actively deployed military personnel. So I'll kind of go through my friends and go, you know what? There's a police officer that I'm friends with that may not be familiar with the work that we do. Let me talk to them about it, you know? And the other thing you do have to be careful about is don't just hit people once a year when you want money. Engage them year round so that social media following builds up and make sure what you're posting is something that they want to see. If all you're posting is give to me, give to me, give to me year round, yes, they are going to delete you. But if you're putting out information that is relevant to them, or is a cause that's important to them, then you're much more likely to get that engagement. So going through on these posts, couple tips: include a graphic or a video on as many posts as possible. Again, we supply you with a bunch. You are free to create your own. If you've got questions about creating your own, again, feel free to shoot me an email. And tell your organization's story. I mean, that's the biggest thing. All of you are involved in these nonprofits for a reason. And most of the time it is not because nonprofits pay really well. It's because you care about what you're doing. And so tell that story, tell why, you know, this nonprofit matters, and inspire people, you know, not just say, hey, give to me, but inspire them as to, this is why this cause is important, and this is why it matters, and this is why you may want to support us. I mentioned sponsors earlier. We ask that you post one post for each sponsor individually, thanking them before the event, and then at least one post that is just a combined graphic of all three sponsors after the event saying, hey, thank you for supporting this. These sponsors do put a lot of money into this. You know, the Community Foundation we pay for the software. I take some of my marketing budget every year and dump a lot of money into this. And, you know, that's what we're here for as a nonprofit. But we also have to show the other two sponsors, hey, you know, there is some benefit, and this is why you want to be associated with this. And if you do that and you're tagging them, then that kind of helps us show sponsors every year, like, hey, come back and do it again. You know, so, and I give some examples here as, you know, if you're like, how do I just post this random, you know, sponsorship? There's some really, you know, good examples. And again, you can customize these. And with the posts, I kind of think about it as like a big wave. Okay. So if I started posting tomorrow, like, hey, Giving Tuesdays in 1 month and sign up right now to give us money. Okay, they're probably going to forget about it by the time Giving Tuesday gets here. But you can start trickling out those, save the dates. And then as we get closer, make sure you're educating people about what Giving Tuesday is. And as we get closer and closer, especially within that last week, really be building up that's when you're getting your posts. And then the day of is when you really want to be driving that message home. And then afterwards, thank your sponsors, thank your donors, talk about what you raised. Talk about how their gifts are going to make a difference. What is the impact that they're creating? And even a month, 2 months, 6 months later, hey, do you remember that, you know, that money that you gave on Giving Tuesday? Here are the children that it helped. Here are the animals that it saved. Whatever it is your cause is, show them that, tell that story. So I have a bunch of different posts here. The one example I always love is how I talk about involving your whole family. So my stepdaughter, she's 8. She's starting to understand a little bit more what we do for work around here other than Miss Erica being my boss. And knowing that, as her dad says, I do the clicky things on the computer. But, you know, at a young age, I really try to instill philanthropy. And so we say, all right, here's $20. Let's sit down on the website. Let's talk about all these different nonprofits. And you can pick out whatever you want to give to on this list. But you have to understand what it is they do. And so, you know, you can give 2 gifts of $10, you can give 1 gift of 20, and we talk about different things. She, like, her big brother has autism, so the Lower Shore Autism group is one that she likes to give to a lot. So, you know, it's a fun way to, you know, it's a great post to sit down and show, hey, look, we're teaching philanthropy at a young age. You know, here's how you can get your whole family involved. The other thing I talk about a lot is internet safety for seniors. This is a really great opportunity to sit with them and say, hey, you know, we know you have a big heart and you want to do something big. Why don't we, as a family, make these decisions and talk about, you know, how we can help. And it's also a great opportunity for your families to learn about new causes that they weren't aware of. So, but take those moments and share them with your followers, because that might inspire the next family and the next family and the next family. We have a lot of examples of day of posts. You can get as creative with these as you want. You know, we do a lot of different examples here, but think about what really clicks for your nonprofit. And then if you have supporters who maybe they're not posting as your page, but as an individual, here's some great ideas for them as well. And yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of different options for you. Again, get creative, copy and paste, whatever you need to do. And if you're not sure, if you're like, hey, I think these might be some great, you know, ideas that I have, can you look through them? I'm happy to look through them. You can even take a list, type up a list of posts that you want your board of directors to make and send it to them. Some boards really need some hand-holding, some don't. So, you know, think about what works for you guys. All right, in the graphics folder, we have a lot of different options here. If you participated last year, you're pretty familiar with these. The email headers are for things like if you have, you know, MailChimp, where you're sending out big emails that have that header image at the top. Again, we've got some slow internet today. Here we go. So you can put those at the top of your emails. You know, if you're sending out a personal email, I think I have some smaller sized ones for like under your signature or something. That's another thing you can do on your work signature. Just say, hey, Giving Tuesday is, you know, this date, you know, you can support us here. And every email you send out that week just has that at the bottom under your signature. Image work parts are kind of, you know, if you just need, these are just random things that I have stuck on our websites, things like that, different background images you may see, so that if you want to get creative, again, you have the same access to everything that we have created here for you. And then under social media, the causes images, those are the images that I talked about earlier, that, you know, are going to be a little bit more specific to nonprofits. And if I can get some of them to load, I will show them to you. But these are the ones that, you know, you can put your logo right on top of these. And so like, I think I made this one for community players. I don't have their logo on it because that is their job, just as it is your job to put your logo on things. Now, again, if community players didn't want to put their logo on that, just wanted to post that on their page, that's fine too. But if you do, all of these are set up so that you can just add causes, and I think there's about 150 of them in here.
So this is, you're not gonna like this request. And maybe you just chip away at it very slowly, but is it possible to retitle them to say in general what they are pictures of?
I thought about that. Unfortunately, since I have to re-upload them every year and they change every year,
Okay.
it starts to get a little bit crazy. One thing you can do though is if you view it like that,
Oh.
It'll show you the preview.
That's fine.
And on your computer, it'll scroll through a whole lot faster.
Yeah, ours is just trying to go through a lot of channels. Yeah.
You can see it.
Yep, so like I added this one for Blind Industries last year. And like I said, if you go through all these and there's nothing that feels really fit, shoot me an email, we'll get you something. This mouse is driving me nuts. I don't have enough room to work over here. Countdown images, it's literally just a 3, 2, 1 days until Giving Tuesday. Facebook page covers. Facebook changes the size of these things every year. I double checked the specs this year. It is different on a profile page versus a business page. So if something is looking funny, just let me know. Generic and miscellaneous social images are just things that, as we go through and are coming up with different sort of generic things. You'll see the Community Foundation posts a lot of these just because we really don't fundraise, even though we have a fundraising page up, we aren't actively going, hey, donate to the Community Foundation, because we just don't feel like that would be really fair to the nonprofits that are participating. So we tend to post things that are a little bit more generic. And then you've got sponsor posts, Twitter posts, and I've added a couple more sort of social media videos. These are really good for Instagram stories. If you have a TikTok, they'll fit on there too. Facebook Reels, anything like that. And I'm gonna try to make a couple more. But they're kind of generic. They're not cause-based, just, hey, Giving Tuesday is today, that sort of thing. So you can load those in if you want as well. And then also some vertical images for you. If you need that format. So I think that brings me sort of to the end. Oh, there is, I get this every year. We have a printable flyer. It is not for social media use because it looks really bad on social media. And every year somebody puts it on social media or they don't understand why they can't load this PDF to post on social media. Please don't post this on social media. It will just look ugly. But if you want to hang up a, sign on your front door or something, stick your logo right in this white space and print it on out and you're good to go. So we just kind of have that as a little extra, or if you're at an event and want to, say you're having a 5K walk or something for your nonprofit between now and Giving Tuesday, run some flyers out.
Sorry, I'm gonna update that date.
Oh, I do that every year. I always miss that one. All right, I will update that as soon as I get back to my computer. I updated the top one. I do this every year. So yeah, so there are those. Any questions for me? Okay, if you are going through things and you find you are stuck with some social media things, again, Heather mentioned too, some of the newer nonprofits or nonprofits that are not very tech savvy. Let me tell you about teenagers. They are excellent at this, okay? One of the reasons, there is a nonprofit watching right now where I encouraged their teenage daughters this last week to watch the recorded version of this and help their father out because he's going to need it. But, tap into those resources if you can, and we are here to help if you need it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for hanging on with us today. How are you feeling about this?
Good.
Excited?
Yeah.
Feel more prepared? Got a lot of tools that you can just take and run with. Hopefully we save you a lot of energy and time, as you're moving forward. I'm just gonna check the PowerPoint, see if there's anything else left. I believe we're finished, but let me look. Oh yeah, there is one slide here we should talk about. And I'll put it back up if I can get it there. I think I'll leave it right here because I can't reach that button. Post Giving Tuesday. I don't know that, we'll see you in person again between now and the actual day. Some of you, I hope we will, because we engage in other ways, but if not, you'll be able to see this information. I think it might even be in here, but you wanna, like Lauren said, pull out your donor information, export it, take it, use it, contact those people, thank them, recognize them, further engage them in your other work. Don't make this the only time of year you ever talk to these people. They are potential donors for the future, potential volunteers for the future, potential board members for the future. If you had a matching fund person or persons, don't forget to circle back around to them. Thank them for their offer to give you a matching gift, confirm with them what you actually fundraise, and then, handle that transaction like I talked about earlier. Thank your ambassadors, your social butterflies, your social media gurus, the people that leaned in alongside you to help promote this campaign. I do know that there are a lot of those that, surround us in our nonprofit work, a lot of people that love to help us, but they also don't just always do it out of the kindness of their heart. They like to hear it. They like to be recognized. Maybe you could do a social media shout out, thanking some of those key people after the campaign for what they did for you. Announcement to press, optional. We'll do an announcement to press on the collective behalf of everyone. But again, you have a lot of narratives, like Victoria said, that if you choose to do one, you've got the template in there if you're not super familiar with it. Funds raised and prizes will be awarded in one check, usually in January every year. It takes a little time for us to process thousands of donations that come through. We do, I don't know, did we mention the fee today? I can't remember if we mentioned the fee today, but we do take 2.75% off of all funds that come through the platform. That's a very minimal fee. It is just for credit card and ACH transactions, just to cover the bases. So any monies that you get for prizes, we will not take that 2.75 off of it. So when you win prizes, you'll get that flat $1,000, whatever it is. Our finance team does a very thorough job on vetting donations and providing you a spreadsheet that also sort of captures, these were your donors, this is how much they gave, this is your sum total of money that came through the database, this is the minus 2.75, these are your prizes. And so they'll break all that down for you. That comes with your check. Please keep that piece of paper. We get so many calls asking for that information, and they spend hours of time reconciling donations and trying to provide you with the information you need. So I know we get excited when we get checks in the mail, but when you get that check, remember there's some important paperwork in there with it. It will save you some energy and you can cross-reference it to your own donor data that you've exported. But we try to do that payment as quickly as possible, but right now our current promise date is January 30th every year. I think that might be it. We have a general email address, shoregives.more@cfes.org, but you can also contact us all directly. Some of you are already super familiar with, certain staff members, and if that's your comfort level, we're happy with that too. We're excited that you're a part of the campaign and we're here to support you. So thank you everyone for coming today. Any thoughts, questions, things we want to share before we stop? And is there anything online? Checking. Okay, I think Victoria's handling all of that. Anything we didn't cover that you want to ask?
So with the prizes for like the most unique donors in an hour, like will we know that at that time or will we not find out until we?
No, they're announced live. So that we have a gamification built into our vendor platform so that we can look at a minute past the hour and see what the rankings are for unique prizes, and we pick them live. That's a great question though. So we'll pick the 5 hourly prizes live, and then after those end at 5 p.m., we'll pick the 5 random prizes. Again, we have it set up to diversify, so you can only get one. So we don't pull the participatory randoms until all the hourlies are over. So if you didn't win in the morning, you still have a chance to win in the afternoon. If you did win in the morning, you likely won't win in the afternoon. That's a great question. But we do pull those live and we announce them live. And all of your tickers and everything else are live. Yep.
So so we do all this and everything is done. Is there any other responsibility as far as accounting or any kind of paperwork that we need to do Like,
Oh, yeah, that's a good
after-
question too. Yeah, thank you for asking that. The answer is no. We handle tax donations and paperwork on your behalf. That's another capacity building thing that's why we're running the campaign, because we know it's a lot of time and energy. The tax donation receipts are built into the database automatically. Your donor will get it automatically. However, there is a way in your dashboard and on the homepage, on the bottom of the homepage, there's multiple ways where a donor can be resent their tax acknowledgement, and everything else is pretty much managed by us. So we're taking the money into our own Stripe account and accepting responsibility as the fiscal sponsor for this campaign. And then actually, some of you have been in deep conversations with Lauren and I in the last few weeks about compliance. We rigorously verify your own compliance because we are accepting the fiscal responsibility of this money, and so that's where the rigor lies for us and for you, is making sure that you're in compliance with the state and the federal government. Once you clear that hurdle, you're good. We're taking on the rest. So you just raise the money and wait for that check to come in January.
Now, I will say, even though we send in their receipts and everything like that, particularly if you get a big donor, go in there and
Oh, yeah.
a handwritten thank you note. I know of one donor who, if she does not receive a handwritten thank you note, she does not get it again. Yeah, she gives significantly, but let me tell you, some of, especially older donors, that is big to them. So it really can go a long way.
Yeah, that's good. Like we said earlier, don't forget to recognize your people. They will get a basic email tax acknowledgement covering the bases. But yeah, anyone online have anything else that we need to cover? I'm going to end the recording now. Thank you for being with us today.
Don't close it out, we're working on answering it.
Okay, I'll leave it up for a second. Lauren's working on something. Thank you, everyone that was online today. We're excited to have you with us as well. If you are someone that is attending our annual meeting on Friday or not attending our annual meeting on Friday, please stay tuned to upcoming announcements about Giving Tuesday. We have a very exciting announcement about this campaign. That'll happen this Friday at our annual meeting. Some of you may already have tickets for that. I'm not sharing anything else, just that there's an exciting announcement. If you're not at the meeting on Friday, please stay tuned to our socials or other, marketing media next week, and you'll hear more about what's going on. But, we're always, this is our 9th year. We're always looking for new ways to engage and new ways to support you. And so, we're excited about our 9th year. Glad that you can be with us today. Are we good, Lauren? No?
Just leave the Zoom on. I'll open it up.
Can I stop the recording?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm gonna stop the recording. And this, we did record. We will put this available on the dashboard so that you can look at it again. Chelsea had trouble getting in today. I texted with her, as soon as this gets sent back to me that it's ready, we'll put it up.